Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where I was just looking through our journal entries here, and in what we have available right now, I didn't actually realize that we needed to have state religion to get religion, autocracy, nationality. So that's great. We're going to have that once this has all been true for 30 total years. So that's fine for the moment. Urbanizing the Japanese shogunate is, I think, something that will just naturally happen, so I'm not too concerned about that. But the whaling industry, from what I can tell, all we need here is an admiral. Just a single admiral. So if we were to go into our military and get a navy, we can recruit an admiral, and we don't actually really care who we recruit this from, I don't think. I'm not too concerned about, well, maybe we go with just whoever has the least clout right now, which would be the samurai. So we'll do that, and now... Perfect. So we can, in theory, complete this. So that should trigger the event A Dangerous Business at this point. So we'll tick on forward and see if it does. There we go. A Dangerous Business. The whaling industry was successfully completed. Excellent. So what do we have here? Plus 25 popularity and minus 2% whaling employee mortality or additional throughput. We're going to go... Actually, this short-term throughput I don't think is all that useful. I think the mortality is better for us right now. That will help our population growth, which is currently quite low. So that's definitely a bit of a concern. We're number 8 GDP worldwide, and that obviously needs to change. We need to bring up our construction numbers. The question is, to what? I don't want to go too ham on construction this game. I feel like I overbuild construction generally. And I would like to focus on maybe getting to like about 1,000 construction and then just chilling there and see how that feels. Maybe something along those lines. Obviously, we're a really long ways away from that right now. Obviously. So that's fine. We're going to get our government administrations and iron mines built up. And we're definitely a little concerned about our finances, but that should improve over time as our government administrations and iron mines come in. Our unrealized tax situation is pretty extreme, no doubt about that, and we want to make sure our bureaucracy is still staying up, but we also definitely need to get iron. Yeah, you've got no flotillas, obviously. Now, paper is currently expensive, and that is actually a concern going forward. We need a lot of government administrations, so we already have a paper mill in Chubu queued up. That must be a private construction. I'm going to allow that to handle that situation for now. We're almost done with this textile mill. For now, that should be okay. We're a ways away from this government administration coming online. I'm not super concerned about it, although wood is going to get more expensive going forward. So we should probably consider building at least 1 or 2 logging camps. I'm going to do 2, but we're going to spread them out. So it's going to end up being about like this. So we're going to build iron mine, logging camp, government administration, and then we'll do the same thing here in the same order. And then hopefully that will deal with our increased wood costs for paper. Because, of course, paper is produced by paper mills, which themselves consume wood. So we're definitely going to want to still have some wood production. How much do each of these logging camps produce? I want to look at it actually over here. 30 per level. Okay. So 1 logging camp is capable of fully funding 1... Like, it's a 1-to-1 ratio for 1 paper mill. That's great. Absolutely wonderful there. No concerns. The iron shortage is a problem. No doubt about that. But this logging camp will be done soon. We also, of course, eventually are going to need to get quinine, which is... Let's see. We have colonization here. Yeah, we need to get down over this way. We currently would need to grab pharmaceuticals. So I think that's still a lesser priority than railways. We grab pharmaceuticals, and then we grab quinine, which would end up allowing us to colonize down over here, because I noticed that these... We need to go to the actual state here. That these have severe malaria. Oh, okay. Severe malaria. That's not just malaria. So in that case, we're not going to be able to colonize over here just yet. What about in Papua? Severe malaria? This is just regular malaria. Okay. So we might be able to get down here, but honestly, the Dutch will probably have that colonized before we get there. We'll see. We'll see. For now, that's reasonably fine. I'm definitely a little concerned about our finance situation. No doubt about that. Our interest payments are creeping upwards, and when our interest payments are higher than our deficit, that's when we know we have a real problem. So we'll see how long that ends up taking. But our interest rate creeping up is counteracting a lot of our benefits that we're getting over here. So for now, that is definitely a concern. And we'll get there. Now, we did deliberately not go for things like luxury furniture production. We might want to get this, actually. So we'll swap over to luxury furniture. That's going to be a problem for now. Oh, hardwood. Right. This does take hardwood. Do we want to get any hardwood production? That's painful right now. I didn't think that this would take hardwood, but it does. Okay, we're going to have to drop off of that for the moment. We definitely can't afford to get any hardwood production for now. Coal is, of course, not really an option for us at the moment either. We could go down to military shipbuilding. That is actually a slight benefit for us, so we'll do that for right now. Okay. For now, this looks to be about the best we can do. It's not great. Actually, butchering tools would be good. We are going to use more tools doing that. But for the moment, that's fine. Do we want to go to sawmills? Actually, kind of, yeah. That is going to probably give us a tools shortage. We'll keep an eye on that. That might actually make hardwood production valuable, though, and it does, which might also itself allow us to do luxury furniture production. Okay, yep, we got there. We do have a tools input goods shortage, though. That is expected. I'm deeply, deeply unsurprised by that. We're going to put in a tooling workshop in Kansai, and I want to check to see what is our deficit here. Significant. Our deficit is indeed significant. So each of these is producing 30 tools per level, right? So we're going to need a bunch of tooling workshops in Kansai. We're going to build about like 10, but we're going to spread these out. We're not going to build them all at once. So I'm going to put a tooling workshop below like every government administration. Actually, I'm just going to move these down for right now. All but one. We'll get one going here, and then we'll have this one here. For the time being, that's fine. And then we'll leave the rest down at the bottom until such a time as they're needed. For now, that's okay. We just need to be pretty careful about this, right? So that's fine. Iron, paper, tools, wood. All expected. All 100% expected there. Remember, we can always pause our construction and start paying down our debt if we need to. 16K and 12K in interest. It's painful. No doubt about that. So we're going to get this government administration done. We're going to need a good amount of tooling. No doubt about that. Keep in mind that our tooling that we queued up there is going to get us about 300, plus a little bit more due to economy of scale. And we only actually need 200. So really, we should cancel about 3 or 4 of these tooling workshops. I'll cancel 4 of them. There's paddle steamers unlocked. Okay, cool. And there's mass communication as well. 10% authority is decent. We should maybe consider some consumption taxes here. Liquor. Porcelain. Tea. Luxury clothes. We can get so many of these. Wow, our authority is so high. Okay, we could continue to go for tobacco. We could go for luxury furniture. I'm not going to go for any of these that are more than 100, but for now, this will do. Glass and opium. Okay, so that puts us positive financially for right now. That's good. We actually really want that. We want to start paying down our debt here. So our interest is going to start going down. We're not going to be increasing our interest. We can start our debt snowball rolling here. We're going to want to be concerned about our standard of living with all this taxation. No doubt about that. That's going to cause us significant issues in the long run. But this is a short-term situation, right? So we're at 828 excess authority right now. That does give us bonus enactment time, which is nice. But paying down our debt means that we're going to start seeing this number steadily increase rather than steadily decrease. And that is very important right now. No doubt about that. So we're going to keep an eye on this number. Every time it reaches about 5K, we're going to add in an additional construction sector for right now. Now, eventually, we know that this is going to be doubling. So we know that this, well, functionally tripling. So we know that this number should be about 300 right now. Great Britain is damaging relations with us. They are currently domineering. Okay, we need to do something about that. We're going to begin improving relations with Great Britain, and we'll see what we can do about this. Hopefully we can get our relations up there. We don't want Great Britain to be doing anything funky here. That's for sure. Keep in mind, our current army power projection is 81. And a big part of that is because we've lowered our wages. So, I mean, this would definitely be useful to move this up. We actually moved negative briefly there. We'll keep an eye on that situation. But really what we need is to finish these tooling mines and iron workshops. Tooling mines, iron workshops. That's how that works, definitely. Tooling mines, so, you know, digging for the tools. And then iron workshops, where we build the raw materials. That's definitely functional. I like it. So we'll see what Britain ends up doing here. We definitely don't want to fight Britain right now. They're currently domineering. We could become their protectorate, which is an interesting option. We'll see what we want to do about that. For the time being, I think it's okay to not be their protectorate. I would prefer not to, if we can at all help it. But we'll see. If we feel it's necessary, we can always do that. So I would like to bump our military wages back up at this time. I would also like to bump our government wages up. We don't have the money to do that right now. We'll have to wait for our economy to increase a bit, but that's okay. So we're still running an iron and tools shortage. We're finishing up this logging camp here, and actually, because we only have 4 tooling workshops here now, I'm going to move these back up, and we're going to just position these again, below every government administration in this queue, right? So it'll end up being something kind of like that, and then we'll put another one somewhere over here. We could leave this one where it's at, actually. That's reasonably fine. We're going to be getting the atmospheric engine shortly. What exactly does that get us besides the prereq? Okay, definitely useful. Noted. Minus 11.7k. That's yikes. Is that just due to our shortages? Perhaps. Perhaps indeed. So we'll get these tooling workshops done. But yeah, this is definitely painful here. I was hoping we would retain our... Oh, it's because we're not actually pulling from the investment pool. That's what's causing it. Gotcha. So we're not actually building any private constructions at this moment, so we're not actually getting any investment pool. We're waiting for funding for a glassworks to become available, and that should be done quite soon. Once that happens, we should pull back positive here, in theory. So that's okay. Unfortunately, for the time being, we are going to be working our interest back up. We were slowly dropping it down there, but we've already, I think, blown that out of the water. So that's definitely sad. Definitely sad. But we are making reasonable construction speed here. And our GDP is definitely creeping upward. No doubt about that as well. So that is good. We could cut our military funding again. I'd really rather not. We're at 102 power projection right now. Compare that to Britain, who is, of course, at 1109. We really don't want to fight Britain. That would be bad. Very, very bad right now. No doubt about that one. Our government administration is finishing. We're going to be working on 2 tooling workshops and an iron mine. Okay. Wood is still considered expensive. We don't have any additional wood production up here, but the atmospheric engine is actually very good for us. So, what are the prerequisites if we were to have our iron mine go to an atmospheric engine pump? Lots more tools, and importantly, coal. So for the moment, we don't really have a source of coal. That's problematic for us. But for now, that's fine. We're going to have to just stick with our picks and tools for the moment. But yeah, as expected, when our glasswork's finished, we're back positive financially. So we're going to be paying down our debt a little bit. It's going to be fairly low amounts. We're working on our tools at the moment. How is that doing at this moment? Okay, definitely much better with our tooling deficit. Cool. Our economy is not in a strong spot, right? There's no doubt about that. We're working on it. We'll get there. So we have a tooling workshop finishing up in 4 weeks. Then we're going to have an iron mine probably around the same time that this tooling workshop finishes. Maybe a little bit sooner. Or actually a little later, I think, at this point. Probably. And then our government administrations, of course. So we've got a lot of things left in this queue, right? 311 weeks left in the queue. And this tooling workshop is going to finish soon. That's good. We definitely need that. We're no longer running a tooling input goods shortage. It's still expensive, but it's not an input goods shortage. That's good. That does mean I'm going to prioritize this iron mine over this tooling workshop. Not that it changes the order in which they're going to get finished, but it does accelerate this iron mine slightly. So that's good. We are currently running a pretty decent surplus. Going to be working our interest payment on down. That's very solid. And another tooling workshop will be good, of course. We only have, 4 of these in the queue right now? So that's not too bad, all things considered. We're definitely still working on expanding Glassworks with our private construction. And that's okay. Our investment pool transfer is 13.9k. Yeah, that was that entire deficit. So that looks good. No problem there. We are starting to work our gold reserves back up, as we can see here, and that is magnificent. Now, if Britain causes us too many problems, we may end up becoming their protectorate, but ideally, we're looking to keep the relations as good as possible. Ideally. There are currently unavailable plays for things like Make Vassal, but that's because we don't have an interest. They can probably do this on us. So that's potentially problematic, for sure. Again, if Britain really starts getting frisky, we'll probably ask to be their protectorate, and then we can still do stuff. That'll be fine. But we'll have to eventually break free from them if we do that, and I'd really prefer not to go that route, if at all possible. So our iron mines are going to be done in 2 weeks here. That's great. Next week, in fact. So we still are running a pretty decent iron shortage, but there was only 2 buildings affected by that shortage. As that new iron mine comes online, this is going to start just being expensive rather than being an input goods shortage. So that's very, very good. Of course, it will take time to employ out the iron mine here, although it's full. It is completely and totally full. So that's good to know. And we're at 4.82k. Arguably, at this point, we should consider getting a construction sector. But this is saying 5.57k. And I think we should probably base it off of that. So we should let our income grow a little bit further. At least finish up this government administration. These guys are improving relations with us. Okay, cool. So is Tahiti. We've got some hopeless people here. Okay. Departed friends permanently. Hope is indeed the first step on the road to disappointment. Excellent. So that's fine. No problem there whatsoever. We've got 5 weeks on this government administration, and I'm hoping that this government administration will put us over like 5.5k. Maybe that's a little ambitious. And I just said hope is the first step on the road to disappointment, so maybe I shouldn't hope these things. And apparently, elbow cups. Fantastic. Good thing there was nothing in them. Okay, let us proceed here. So we're finishing up that government administration in 1 week. I'm slightly distracted now, but there we go. Cool. That's done. We're working on an iron mine and a tooling workshop. All is looking good here. So tooling workshops, there's only 3 more of these left in the queue. We're still running an iron input goods shortage, still 2 buildings affected by it, so these are both construction sectors. Keep in mind, we are still increasing our amount of construction by dealing with this input goods shortage. So that's absolutely fine for the moment. This iron mine coming online should, in theory, maybe solve our input goods shortage, although iron is still going to be expensive. Don't get me wrong. Iron will absolutely still be expensive. So that is going to be a bit of a problem for us. For a while yet. Unfortunately, we are down to 4.54k. I really want to get another construction sector going. I feel like it's really, really valuable to get our construction sectors up to 300 here. That's our target. Once we're at arc welded buildings, we'll be making plus 150 instead of plus 50. So that's, you know, 3 times more. So we should be at like 333 would be our target. I'm going to get one. It's probably a problem. I maybe shouldn't do this. But I'm going to get one. We're going to be lacking iron. We're going to be... This is going to drive up the price of tools a little bit, but the tooling workshop should cover that. And then once this iron mine finishes, we should be good on that front. So there we go. We want to bring this number up to 333. That is the goal. Just 333. Movement to enact theocracy. Okay, that's exciting. So we're currently at minus 14.5k. Part of that is the construction sector we just built. But the bigger part is the fact that we don't have a private construction ongoing right now. So we're not getting a transfer from our investment pool. That's most of what we've got going on here. Our iron mine is going to finish up. We're going to start a glassworks very shortly. No major issues here at this moment. We don't actually want to enact theocracy, I don't think. Probably not. Our iron mine finishing up in Kanto is, of course, a pretty big deal. So there's that done. Currently, 2 buildings affected by the shortage. There might have been 3 before we finished that iron mine in Kanto. Yeah, this is already employed up. So no issues there at all. We've got another iron mine underway. We're now building 3 simultaneous, which is good because that's exactly what we're looking to build. Wood is still expensive. We will deal with that. Tools are kind of a lower priority at this point. We only have the 2 tooling workshops to build in the queue. I'm actually going to cancel this one, though. We haven't started on it yet. It seems fine. Looking at our interest, 12.7k. That number is definitely dropping, although we're currently barely afloat. That's noted. That's actually fairly expected that we're barely afloat with that construction sector going in. But that does, of course, mean that this construction queue drops in how long it takes pretty dramatically. So our iron shortage is affecting how many buildings right now? Still 2. Okay. And if we check the actual numbers here, 242 out of 546. Noted. So we absolutely need a bunch more iron, right? Iron is one of our big lacks at this moment. Tooling workshop finishing up in 8 weeks. It's not strictly a high priority right now. At this moment, the high priorities is our unrealized taxes of 86.8k and iron. Those are the high priorities right now. I just want to get this tooling workshop out of the way and done. So we're at six weeks on that. Make that 5. It'll be fine. Not too concerned on any of that one. So that's okay. Nothing too major right now. We're just trying to get our economy online, and we're definitely seeing our GDP growing here. There's no doubt about that. We're having significant GDP growth, but it's nowhere near online yet. Just running this very small surplus is a win, though, in my book. At this point, running this surplus is very, very valuable for us. We want a higher surplus, obviously, but just running a surplus at all, that's great. I'm very pleased with that. So there's our last tooling workshop that we had queued up, finishing up. That's absolutely great. And yep, tools are not even expensive now. So we've just got a wood, not really issue. We've just got wood being slightly expensive right now. Like, I don't consider this to be too big of an issue. Minus 650, yeah. And we'll need to deal with that eventually. But for the moment, iron mines are absolutely the bigger deal. We're going to finish up another iron mine here. There we go. Phenomenal. So as that iron mine employs up, where is it? Here we go. As that iron mine employs up, we're now outputting 266 total iron here. That's pretty good. We've got 11% throughput from economy of scale. What is our current economy of scale cap? 20. Gotcha. So we want to get our iron mine up to like size 21, right? So what is our current queued size? 20. I'm going to queue up one more iron mine here. And that was at the beginning of the queue. That's fine. I'm not too concerned about that. So that'll get us to our maximum economy of scale cap. And that'll be absolutely great. We do... Oh, that was exciting. I didn't expect the camera to zoom out. Oh, I must have moused just outside of this window. Okay. Exciting. Well, that is certainly something that just happened. Fantastic. I want to get these iron mines done as soon as possible, right? So this government administration in Kanto is finishing up. It really does feel like these government administrations are kind of a wash. We're not really moving the marker on this unrealized taxes, are we? So here's a question. How are we actually doing on that? We're building mostly in Kanto right now. Or actually, these are in Kansai, aren't they? This one's in Tohoku. Okay. So I'm guessing what's happening here is our taxation capacity is changing at about the same rate that we're constructing these. That's my theory, anyway. So for the time being, we're obviously going to need more government administrations than what we have queued up here. Obviously. We'll get to it. For right now, I think we're okay. We don't need to queue up anything more. Paper is becoming expensive. That's deeply unsurprising. We're probably going to have to start making some government paper construction and not rely entirely on our private investment for that, but hopefully that won't be too big of a deal. But paper becoming expensive is obviously a big issue for us as we build all of these government administrations, right? That's obviously going to become a problem. We've got iron mines finishing up in 2 and 3 weeks each, and then a government administration behind that. So we're building 4 buildings simultaneously now. One of them's kind of slow, but we're building 4 buildings simultaneously. So that is absolutely fantastic. So if we look at each of these construction sectors, right? So each of these is producing 5 construction. Yeah, we definitely want to... So real quick, pulling up a calculator. 333 divided by 5. 66.6 total. So that pretty much means we need 4 of these maxed plus an additional 2. Gotcha. So that's fine. We can definitely do that. Not right now, but we can definitely do that. Hey, we're no longer running an input goods shortage of iron. That's good. That now means we're maxing out our construction. That's really, really, really solid. I like it. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are about to get lathe. That might help us out a decent amount as well. But we're also going to be, pretty soon, investing in additional construction. Again, we want to get up to 333, so that would be great. Really, we're going to go to 335, right? So that's just the way the math works. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.